Hey guys! Welcome back to Too Good for Drugs. This week is week number 4, and this is your captain speaking for our lesson today. So, number 1, message in a bottle. Last week we talked about emotions. Another word for emotions is?
Feelings.
Great. We learned an emotion can get stronger as a situation changes or if we don't manage the emotion. So, why do we need to manage emotions like anger, sadness, or fear before they become too intense?
So the emotion won't influence what you say or do. And so you can make better decisions so you don't take your emotions out on yourself or others.
Excellent.
A big part of managing emotions is letting others know how you feel. Today we are going to learn about how communication works with others. Let's start by understanding what communication is. What is communication?
Communication is talking, emailing, texting, etc.
Communication is the sending and receiving of information between two or more people so the message can be understood.
We communicate in many ways. One of them is using words, so that could be speaking, writing, texting, and emailing. The speaker sends a message and the listener receives the message. For example, if I talk to you, who is the speaker?
You are.
Exactly. So, who is the listener?
I am.
Yep.
Suppose I call you on the phone and you don't answer. Instead of talking to you, I talk to your voicemail. Is that communication?
No.
Why not?
Because I haven't heard the message yet.
That's right. Because there's no listener, I would just be talking. Talking and communicating are not the same things.
So, if you listen to a message that is in French and you don't understand French, is that communication?
No.
Why not?
Because I didn't understand the message.
Exactly. In order to receive a message, the listener has to understand the actual message itself.
When we use the word communication, we usually think of communication with words. However, we often communicate non-verbally or without words. How do we communicate without using words?
You can use gestures, body language, facial expressions, emotions, etc. There's all kinds of ways you could express emotion.
Your face, your hands, and your body can say a lot about what you are trying to say without speaking at all. For example, if I do this, what am I saying?
You don't know.
Exactly. You can send a message with body language or with your facial expressions. Let's see if we can communicate other feelings and ideas without talking.
So, if I hold my hands up like this, what does this mean?
Good job.
Exactly. So, if I do this sign, or no, this sign, what does that mean?
Stop.
Exactly.
To receive all these messages, what did you have to do?
Look.
That's right. You have to look at the person speaking to you to understand what he or she is communicating. Nonverbal communication often says more than a person's words do.
Yep. So, number 2, say what? Let's take a closer look at how nonverbal communication works. Open your workbooks to page 12 to the section titled Communication Styles. In this activity, you will identify 3 communication styles. Each of these 3 styles has its own set of nonverbal characteristics, which include tone of voice, facial expression, and eye contact, and body language. Before we start, let's review these characteristics.
Who would like to read the first 3 tones of voice?
Firm, loud, and soft.
Very good. What about the 3 facial expressions?
Angry, fearful, and calm.
Who can read the 3 levels of eye contact?
Glaring, looks away, and looks at the other person in the eye.
Finally, let's read the different expressions of body language.
Confident, timid, and intense.
Excellent. You're going to identify the 3 different communication styles by organizing these nonverbal characteristics into groups. Some of the answers have been done for you. Let's complete the first profile together. This style uses a loud tone of voice and an angry facial expression. If someone was using a loud tone of voice and an angry facial expression, how would you describe their level of eye contact?
Glaring.
Very good. What type of body language might this person have?
Intense.
Exactly. Write these answers on the appropriate lines and be sure to cross them off of the word bank.
So, pause the activity and go on ahead. Or pause the video, go on ahead. So, These characteristics describe one style of communication. Let's see if you can organize the rest of these characteristics into the other two profiles on your workbook page. We will fill in the My Title and Style section later.
Who would like to share the characteristics you listed in the middle profile?
They should be soft tone of voice, fearful facial expression, looks away, and timid body language.
Very good. Which nonverbal characteristics did you list in the last profile?
Firm tone of voice, calm facial expression, looks the person in the eye, and confident body language.
Excellent. Now come up with your own title to describe each group of the nonverbal characteristics. Be creative. There's no right or wrong answer. Write your titles next to the My Titles section of each group of characteristics. We will fill in the style in just a moment.
So, what did you title the first group of nonverbal characteristics?
Did you title them mean, disrespectful, hurtful, and thoughtless?
These are all great titles. The characteristics in the box describe the aggressive speaker. Aggressive communicators often use a loud and bossy tone of voice. The use of this tone of voice shows the speaker doesn't care for the listener's feelings.
What did you title the next group of nonverbal characteristics?
Some possible answers could be insecure, shy, sad, unsure, etc.
Very good. The characteristics in this profile describe the passive speaker. Write the word passive on the style line in this profile box. Passive communicators often use a soft and shaky tone of voice. This tone of voice often makes people think they're unsure of themselves or lack confidence.
So, what did you title the last group?
Some possible answers could be respectful, kind, or thoughtful.
Excellent. These characteristics in the profile describe the assertive speaker. Write the word assertive in the style line in the profile box. Assertive communicators use a firm and positive tone of voice. Being assertive shows that you are confident in who you are and what you have to say, but it also shows you respect in each other.
Now, let's illustrate the 3 different communication styles. Each of the 3 circles within the profile boxes will represent a portrait of the nonverbal communication style. In each circle, use stick figures to draw what you think the person's body language and facial expressions would look like when using each style. For example, what do you think a confident body language looks like?
Shoulders back, heads up, and etc. There are many possible answers.
Very good. Be prepared to demonstrate the nonverbal cues that you draw.
So, what do an aggressive speaker's body language and facial expressions look like?
Some possible answers could be hands on their hips, pointing, glaring, a scowl on their face, anything like that.
What does a passive speaker's body and facial expressions look like?
Some of your possible answers could be your head down, you're slouching, you're looking down.
What does an assertive speaker's body language and facial expressions look like?
They stand tall, they look the other person in the eye, and they're confident.
Excellent. So, now that you know a little bit more about the aggressive, passive, and assertive communicators, which style do you think has the most effective way and why?
I think the assertive communication is most effective because you are confident in what you are saying and you are also aware of the other person's thoughts and ideas.
So, that's right. Assertive communicators speak with confidence and respect. They respect themselves and are aware of the thoughts and ideas of others. When you use this communication style, people will take notice to you, listen to you, and treat you with respect.
So moving on to topic number 3, Captain's Goldworthy and Treasure Map. You have a good understanding of the role of being a speaker. What is the other role in communication?
The listener.
That's right. The listener receives a message from the speaker. To better understand what the speaker is saying, there are varieties of things a listener can do to make sure the message is understood.
So, go on ahead and look in your workbooks at the section titled Profiles in Listening. Let's review the profile of an active listener. The active listener does what?
They maintain eye contact with the speaker. They lean in towards the speaker. They focus on what the speaker is saying. They repeat what the speaker is saying. and they ask clarifying questions, and lastly, they ignore distractions.
Very good. So, the listener does all these things in order to hear and understand everything the speaker is saying. Look at the next box. This is a profile of a distracted listener. The distracted listener does what?
They often interrupt the speaker, they avoid eye contact, they turn away from the speaker, they focus on other things, they think about what to say next, and they get easily distracted.
Excellent. So, let's see if you can identify active listeners and distracted listeners. Look at page 13 in your workbooks at the section titled Captain Goldsworthy and the Treasure Map. In this story, we catch up with good old Captain Goldsworthy and his crew of pirates as they set off to find buried treasure. Captain Goldsworthy is an assertive speaker, but he is having a hard time communicating with his instructions. It seems some members of his crew are not active listeners.
Before we begin our story, look at the pirate terms next to each character. These terms are found in the script. Let's review them together. Booty is
Stolen treasure.
a matey is,
A friend.
hearty means,
A friendly way to address a friend.
and blindly is.
An explanation of surprise.
Very good. Remember, as we read the story, listen for the active listener. So we're going to give you guys time to pause the video and read the script and the story, and then we'll come back.
Alrighty, welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So, now using the profiles of listening on page 12, write the characteristics each pirate demonstrated in the story. Then identify the active listener by placing a check mark in the box.
Who found the treasure?
Edward Nenes?
Very good.
What did Edward do to make sure he understood the captain's directions to find the buried treasure?
He made eye contact, he leaned in toward Captain Goldsworthy to show that he was listening, and he repeated the directions to make sure he understood them.
Excellent. Edward made eye contact with the captain. He leaned in to show that he was paying attention. He repeated the directions to make sure he understood them, and Edward ignored all of the distractions that were happening on the ship.
How do you think Captain Goldsworthy felt about the way Edward Ninnies was listening to him?
Good. Like Edward respected him and cared about what he was saying.
Was Pirate Sully Drake an active listener?
No.
Why not?
He focused on the crackers, not the captain's instructions. He looked away from him. He was very easily distracted.
That's right. Scully Drake was focused on the crackers and feeding the parrot. He looked away from the captain and was very easily distracted.
Was Pirate Peggy Scar an active listener?
No.
Who can explain why Peggy Scar was not an active listener?
She interrupted the Captain Goldsworthy and she was focused on herself.
That's right. She interrupted him and was focused on herself.
How do you think Captain Goldsworthy felt about the way Peggy Scar and Scully Drake were listening?
Probably not very good, frustrated, and they felt like they didn't care.
Excellent. An active listener is engaged in the conversation and communicates care and respect for the speaker. Good communication isn't as simple as exchanging a couple of words. Both the speaker and the listener need to work together to make sure the message is understood.
So, you can build closer friendships when you communicate through thoughts and feelings effectively. Next week, we will learn about healthy friendship qualities so you can make good choices about the people you choose as friends. So, I hope you guys enjoyed week number 4, and we will see you next time.
Bye!